All right, guys, this is your boy AOA, and this is AOA The Shed with Jaden. Today we got Kamtacus. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us what type of kid were you growing up.
Recently, I've been a good kid, but like in the past, I haven't been a good kid. I never really liked to take orders from people. I've always been the type of person where when I decide what I want to do, that's just what I'm going to do.
Right.
And you don't really get to have the opportunity to make those type of choices until you get on your own. But when you're taking orders from other people, like parents, you know, whatever, supervisors, teachers, all that shit, you kind of have to follow the rules for at least a small portion of your life until you can, you know, work hard and, like, you know, break out of that mold and get to do whatever you want.
So do you think you've grown through that mindset?
I think so. My biggest, well, I'm sorry, I'll let you finish.
No, you're good.
But as far as growth wise, I think my goal has always been to make every single thing I do better than the last. So if I'm not going forward, I feel like we're messing up somehow. If I'm not pushing forward, if I'm not continuing to make everyone better than the last, I feel like I'm like moving backwards almost in a sense, or just not. Stagnant is like not an option. Right. Like stagnant is cool, but you have to like, all right, what's next? You got it, you know, celebrate, have fun, but then top it.
How old are
right
you?
On.
I'm very old. I've lived many lifetimes. I've lived many lifetimes. Up here at least. Physically on this earth, I'm 22. But up here, I have long time.
You're from Fort Wayne?
Born and raised
Fort Wayne?
Born and raised Fort Wayne, unfortunately. Haven't had the opportunity to leave yet, but would really love to.
Yeah.
Man, putting that out there.
Explain.
Would love to be somewhere else if anybody wants to connect that.
Now, why do you say unfortunately here? What's the downsides of being in the music game over here?
I don't even really, there isn't a music game. I feel like the biggest thing with the Midwest and the biggest downfall of the Midwest is there necessarily isn't a culture. You have South culture, you have Hollywood culture, you have New York, you have that. The Midwest really doesn't have its own culture. It's kind of a culmination of just, because nothing's really happening here. It's kind of like big stuff's happening in Atlanta, big stuff's happening in New York, and people kind of pick and choose.
It's like a melting
So it's like, it's not necessarily a bad music scene. It kind of works for me that there isn't one because I get to make it and it's been in my favor. I've been making it in my favor because there isn't a market and there isn't necessarily culture. So I can be the one to step up and make a culture. But I think the curse of the Midwest is there isn't a scene. The scene is small demographics of bigger scenes. And that's kind of the bad. That's why I say, unfortunately, from Fort Wayne. I'm from Fort Wayne, but Fort Wayne doesn't contribute anything to a scene. It's a culmination of smaller scene. Fort Wayne itself is not a scene. Right. There's no Fort Wayne type beats. There's no Fort Wayne drill scene. There's no Fort Wayne trap scene. There's no Chicago drill. You know what I mean? It's not like that. It just doesn't exist. That. It just doesn't exist.
I see what you're saying, because whenever you do hear a Fort Wayne artist, let's say Fort Wayne to be example,
it's a tight beat.
Exactly. They're taking a Detroit style.
He's from Fort Wayne, but he's a Detroit type rapper. He doesn't even live there type shit or whatever. He's a Chicago type rapper. Never even fucking lived in Chirac in his life.
And you consider yourself a producer / DJ?
I like to go with just artists. Just because I used to say I was just a producer and a DJ, but I actually have been putting my own vocals and stuff now. So it's like, I don't know when I'm a rapper or a singer or whatever. So it's just artists. Right. I make my stuff, and if whatever I contribute to, that's what I contribute to it. Whether it be just the beat, whether it just be DJing the song, whether it's shooting a music video, whether it's engineering and whatever. So it's kind of just like whatever I have to do, whatever hat I have to wear at the time, that's the hat I'm gonna wear.
I like to think of you as, like I said earlier, like DJ Khaled, but actually...
Yeah, if DJ Khaled actually did some shit.
Exactly, but you're actually doing pretty much everything. Just like you said, you have a rollout coming up. Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, about? So this is a little information on me personally. As an artist, the way I do things is I'll make an instrumental or I'll make a beat. If I don't personally already have what I want in my head as far as like lyrics-wise, I would just seek out someone I think will be good for him. Like, oh, I know this girl from so-and-so. I think she'll be good on this beat. Reach out to her, type of collab like that. But I'm not the type of dude who just sends beats to random people or sends beats to whatever and get a recording back whenever. So like when we're making that song, I'm there. Half the time I'm making the beat while we're making the song. So it's like as the song is developing, the instrumentals, I like starting from like really scratch or small idea, and like as we're putting vocals on to add to the instrumental. So when I do make music, it's a lot more personal, and it's not just like I sent an email pack, I sent 50 beats, he sent one back, you know what I mean? And we got a hit type shit.
Right. So What's your sound inspiration? Like, do you have any artists that inspire, like...
I like a lot of people.
Yeah.
I love all different types of music. Being a DJ is kind of one of those things that being a DJ is beneficial because I get the opportunity to listen to everything and I get the opportunity to play everything. As far as like being a rapper, you only get to kind of perform your own music. So when it comes to when I get to make music, I kind of am just pulling from wherever because I'm not really bound to one thing. As a DJ, you can play whatever. I can play Katy Perry, I can play Michael Jackson, I can play Frank Sinatra, I can play jazz, you know what I mean? I can play dubstep. So when I make my music, it's kind of just a culmination of everything and then it's kind of just me. And I also like to take a large initiative on, there's nothing wrong with sounding like someone else, but I like to learn from other people and then make that my own thing. My goal in the end is for people to have a me type sound. Instead of a Metro Boomin type beat, it would be a Kamtacus type beat. Not a Kamtacus makes Metro Boomin type beat. You know what I mean? So my goal has always been take work from other people and then separate myself and have my own thing type situation.
Stepping back, looking at it right now, it seems like right now, from what you just said, it seems you're focusing more on the producing, getting your name out there from the producer side. From this angle, this rollout coming out, just wanted to make sure, is that correct?
Well, yeah, right now, I think as far as...
Because you just said type U beats.
Yeah, the specific time I'm in right now, I do everything in blocks. Everything I do kind of like... So last summer, we spent events. I was DJing everywhere. I wasn't even really recording music like that. I had most of the music that's coming out right now was been recorded. It's just been shelved. So I spent all of last year doing all these crazy parties, all these crazy events, just to get my own general name up. People know who I am. They don't necessarily know I make music, but they do know me as the guy who's been throwing all these crazy ass events for the past year. And they do know me as the guy who's been filling up all these houses for the past year. So when I do go to drop some music, it doesn't really seem as much of a far off thing. And I also already have a large people looking at me because, oh, that's the nigga who's been tearing up the city for the past year and a half. You know what I mean? Always dropping an album. What is it? Type thing. So I, as a person who wears many hats, I don't necessarily just promote one thing. Sometimes I use my other avenues as just a crutch to, I'm not the biggest producer out here. I'm not the biggest artist out here, but I am one of the biggest DJs. I am one of the biggest media outlets and creative. So if I can use that to crutch some music on the side, yeah, sure, that's fine. That's fine with me.
So what was your start in the music?
Starting really, that's a great question. Shout out to Jack Adams and shout out to Jack Adams' parents. When I was in 7th or 8th grade, I'll keep it short. There was these two dudes who they had their own little startup DJ company who went to my high school, and they were on their senior year and they had been DJing all the school events, fundraisers type thing. And they were seniors and I was in 8th grade. So, switching, they're going out, I'm coming in type situation. And they were letting me and my friend Jack help them do their events. And I was trying to get into DJing. And they actually, with the help of Jack's parents, we purchased their company from them, which as an 8th grader, purchasing a company from someone is a very big deal. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we really did, thankfully to my friend's parents, they were the ones, wealthy and in a position to do some shit like that, not 16-year-olds or 15 or however we were. They actually gave us kind of the startup plan to get this company and give us all the materials we needed to start it. So we had the vision at a very young age, but because of them, that's how I started. And we took over the DJ company from those older guys. And as 8th graders, I was DJing school prom. I was an 8th grader DJing high school proms. It was that type of thing. So I was in 8th grade doing the high school prom. I was in 8th grade doing the middle school dance. I was, so that's how I really got started. And then once I wanted to get the DJ